Hello there, World of Tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm, of course, your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about this Tier 10 French autoloading tank destroyer, the Foch 155. Now, as it says in the name, this carries a 155mm armament, which is actually one of the larger calibers in the game. But what is funny is even though this has such a large gun, it has one of the lowest alphas for a 150 plus at 560 compared to the normal 640. Now, you might be wondering, if you don't know the extensive history this vehicle has, well, why is that? Well, basically, when this tank first came out, it had a single-shot gun, very similar to vehicles like the 113 GFT or a vehicle like the Object 268, 640 damage per shot, really good standard and premium penetration. In fact, it still has that exact same gun right here. But a couple years later down the line, after Wargaming had decided, you know what, on World of Tanks PC, this is an autoloading Tier 10 tank destroyer. So why not make it an autoloading TD and Blitz? So they decided to do that, and they gave it a second gun, which is an autoloading 2-shot gun. Now this gun came into the game with 640 damage per shot and 960 on the high explosive. It had around the same damage per minute, and it was so incredibly strong. You'd see double platoons of these tanks, and honestly, I still have Vietnam flashbacks from this vehicle running a double-shot 640 gun. So Wargaming was smart, and literally like 1 or 2 months later, it was nerfed, and this is what the nerf left it at. But the issue is Wargaming named both of these guns the exact same model name. So when they nerfed this gun, it also nerfed the damage on this gun to 560. So now both guns deal 560 a shot. I really wish that the original gun on the tank still stayed at 640 because I love HE. 680 average damage on your HE is not a lot. And being able to deal 960, even if you lose that DPM from not having the autoloader, in my opinion, would make the tank a more enjoyable and a better vehicle because alpha is key sometimes. And especially for a tank like this, it's better if you snap a shot and you back on the cover other than sitting out in front of your opponents and letting them aim at your weak spots. Now, speaking about the armor of the Foch, it actually has incredible armor. The upper plate is 275 thick, and if you're using heat, of course, because shell normalization doesn't occur there, it's about 310 millimeters thick, meaning that if you're using your 5 degrees of gun depression and angling, yeah, it's really thick, about 350 millimeters to be at that. So you can actually get bounces really well on this vehicle. But of course, every tank has its weak spots. This one has a big ol' lower plate, only about 200 thick, and you've got a cupola that's only about 183. Now the cupola is very troll because the edges are impenetrable, but yeah, it's still easy to pen if you know where to pen the tank. But you can still get some fantastic bounces against players that don't know how to take out the vehicle. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be showing you possibly one of the best games I have ever played in this tank since its debut in like 2000, I don't even know, it was a long time ago. I'll just say like 5 years ago. Long time ago. But yeah, this is an incredible game, and it's going to showcase that even though this vehicle is not as strong as it ever used to be, and with the meta ever so changing and all the mediums and heavy tanks getting buffs and nerfs, this vehicle's just kind of gotten left behind, but I still think it is a very strong vehicle if you know what you're doing. Now, just to show what I mean by the meta is changing, this is my win rate for 7 games in the Foch. It's 42% with over 4,000 average damage. I'm doing a decent job at it, trying to do the best I can, but just I can't. You know, you can't win in a tank destroyer because you can't brawl with heavies. Even if you do 4,000 damage a game, heavy tanks have so many more hit points than your Foch that by the time you've either taken out a heavy tank or you've dealt with one flank, it's taken you so long to do that and you've lost so much health that the other side, either the mediums or the heavies, just beat you. And that's my issue with the tank currently, and a lot of tank destroyers, is that they struggle so much on beating mediums and heavies because of the massive disparity in playstyles. You can compare that, of course, to the 7 games I've played in the E50M yesterday at 85%. Over a double increase on win rate there. But let's get into that replay. I know you guys probably want to see it and not me talk about the tank itself. I just wanted to put a bit of backstory, talk about the vehicle, give you guys some quality content. But here we go. Let's see what this game was showing the strengths of the vehicle. Let me just skip a little bit so we don't have to wait for awaiting players. Now, the Foch still has a very solid DPM. It's 3,250, which, when you compare that to other Tier 10s in the game right now, that's really solid. It's right up there, probably top 10 DPMs for Tier 10. which, yeah, does make the tank quite enjoyable on being able to rush shells into your enemies. And of course, as it is an autoloader, that means that you can dump out 560 in your first shot, and then 7.1 seconds later, dump out another 560. Then you have a 14-second reload to reload the entire clip, and then you're dealing another 560. So you're not actually doing that bad at all on your damage per shots, because you basically get a normal 640 damage per shot reload of around 14 or 13 seconds on the vehicle. And then you get a 7.1 second reload as a bonus. So you're getting a lot more extra DPM with a vehicle like this, even with that less alpha damage. So in this moment now, I've noticed I got 3 tanks off to the side. I was trying to see if I was going to get detected through that bush, but I don't really understand what this E100 was doing, because you're going to see me spot him here, and he obviously wasn't looking at that bush. My plan was, as you can see, when I poked before, to see if I would get spotted. That way I'd know if there's somebody trying to look at me. Even if they shot me, I'd be able to shoot them back, so I wasn't too worried about that. But what ended up happening is that guy just wasn't looking at the bush in that moment. But I already noticed he's running the stock gun, which means he's not a threat. He might pen me a couple times, but he's not a good player. So that's already good news. I've tracked him twice, as this is a 155. It's got very good module damage, the same as any other 150. So I've tracked that guy twice very easily and dealt 1,200 damage already. But he rams me, and that ram actually hurt quite a bit, 236. I'm actually surprised it didn't take more off. 704, thankfully, shoots me in the gun, which is great. Now that I don't have to worry about him for a second here, I've gotten 1 shell into the 704. Clearly, he's the more devastating target. We've gotten 2 shells into the object 704, but oh, there goes the E100 getting another penetration into me. And with that, I'm down to 1,300 health. And as I said before, dealing with a vehicle like an E100 just takes away so much HP. And unfortunately, even though I tried angling out the vehicle, that object 704 went right through my lower plate. So, yeah, now we're even in a worse scenario. But we're doing okay. We're at 3,018 damage already dealt. And again, we've got another shell for the C100. Boom. 489, but oh, we're going to lose more health. Please don't shoot me. Don't pen it. Don't pen it. I'm trying to turn my tank, as you can see, outward, but even with me angling it outward there, because the E100 is so tall, and he's, of course, shooting premium ammunition, as we can tell by the mark of his ammo, yeah, he easily cut right through my armor. So now we're in a bit of a situation here. We are at 4,000 damage. That's great. You know, being able to get that much damage out that quickly, I was basically utilizing my entire DPM that entire game, shooting for more than a minute. But now we're in the scenario where, yeah, I only have 300 health, and they've got 4 tanks left. So, can't get a shot into that T-30. We got the Sheridan, the T-30, the T-57 Heavy, and, oh, we just lost a tank. Actually, we had 4 tanks left. Sorry, I misread that there. So now it's a 3 versus 3. But I'm thinking, okay, even though our heavy tanks have kind of camped this game, we do have a full health T-175 and a 1,100 health ST1. That's over 3,600 health combined, and their health alone is more than the entirety of the enemy teams. So I'm thinking, okay, they should easily be able to deal with whatever's thrown at them. I'm going to try and do my job and see what I can get out into a tank, maybe like the Sheridan or whatever. So yeah, I'm going to push my tank up off to the side. I clearly do not have the hit points to go in there and help out the team. So I'm just going to stay low, try and do my support as a tank destroyer from the back of the map, and, well, we're going to see how that manages to work out. So there's the Sheridan spotted. Now, I really, really want to get a shell into that Sheridan. I know that since he's about 270-plus meters away right now, just looking at the viewfinder, he will not be able to spot me. I've got a great camouflage rating, as this tank does actually have a really good profile of how big it is, the shape of it, so it's got a good camo rating. I really wanted to hit this guy here. You can see I loaded HE and just went a little bit off to the side. My goal was to hit him with an HE shell. That way he would be a one-shot if he ever decided to move, which he did right there, but as you can see, he wasn't a one-shot potential, so we didn't finish him off. He could have gotten a high roll there, which I was hoping, but no. But either way, now we're at 5,125 damage, and we're still continuing on here. Thankfully, we've already blocked 1,030 damage this game, showcasing that this tank can get some bounces here and there, but really, the armor didn't save me all too much this battle. Now, what I find incredible is that the T-57 Heavy basically lost 0 hit points that entire fight against our full health T-175. And I understand that the E5 was trying to do his job. He was actually, you know, saying affirmative and stuff in chat. But, and oh, another low roll tragedy again. What is up with the low rolls? So there you go. Now we've got a low roll there. But thankfully, Wargaming was like, okay. We gave you 2 low rolls. We'll give you a bit of a nice buffer here. We'll let you kill the Sheridan. So there you go. We got at least a little bit of vengeance back in there. But as I was saying, as much as that E5 was trying to be helpful, he definitely should probably take a little bit more tanking lessons, because that was not a good move from the team there. Both of them, the ST1 and the E5 combined, did 0 damage that entire encounter over there. So I'm like, well, that sucks. Now I've got to deal with the T57 Heavy and the T30. Now, thankfully, even though we did get a low roll on the T30, he's a one-shot. And because this 57 Heavy had not have spotted me there for at least a little bit... Actually, no, my light bulb popped up. I guess I was spotted. He saw me and just didn't want to get hit. But he got hit, and hit quite hard he did. We're at 6,275 effective damage right now, but I'm still a one-shot, even with a premium round from his vehicle that will easily butter through my tank. As I just showed you before, and of course I can show you still, this is a T110E5 gun, which has the exact same penetration as a T57 Heavy. And even haul down here, you can see that, like, it's still a pretty easy penetration. And if he's running calibrated, which I would suggest that all autoloaders do, even if I'm fully angling, yeah, I am very, very easy in a one-shot potential. So I gotta be careful here. Like, the carefulest I've ever been. Now I know that he's coming for me, and I made a really risky move, tried to cross through there, and it worked. Now I'm off to the side, and he still thinks I'm up there, of course, because I'd be detected if I tried to leave. So he's trying to make his way up to try and find me in my mind right now. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe I can come up behind him. Now, I was expecting to spot him somewhere right in front of where my gun barrel is. I was expecting to maybe get a shot off and then just try and duck in the cover, but he went really, really wide. I'm loading HE. I've got to land a shell right in this box here. You can see I'm easily aiming at it, and I don't even know where the shell went. Exactly, I had no clue actually where the shell went. I'd like to see, just to notice. Oh, wow. As you can see, my luck is fantastic. It was at an angle like this, and somehow I managed to hit that. Wow, my luck is great. But thankfully, because he is a distance away from me, and because I'm using bush mechanics, I am not spotted. And we're loading another HE, and boom, it goes in. At least that one did its normal roll. In fact, it was a pretty clear gonna kill him if it did pen. And there you go. We finished off the T57 Heavy. Now, he's salty. He's like, what the fork? Why didn't I spot you? I can't see you, but you can see me. Well, that is why you use bushes. And bushes, of course, give you better spotting while you don't get detected yourself. And even though that was a risky shot there, I figured, you know what? He might back up, and I don't know what he's planning on doing. There you go. 7,246 damage in the Foch 155. And with that, we, of course, pulled out a mastery. Nothing ridiculous on kills, nothing ridiculous on really anything, but that was just an intense game, and possibly one of the best games I've ever played in the Foch, definitely after they've put on the auto-loading gun. Let me know what you guys think about this tank in the comments down below. If this video made you want to grind the vehicle because you see the potential, just remember that not every game is like this. I played a lot of games in the Foch today, and a lot of them turned out to be defeats, but they were not bad games by any means. We had a 5,200 damage game here, we had a 4,200 damage game there, this one was another 3,000 damage game. Like, the damage was not bad by any means, 2,800, so the Foch does get some very solid games out. And the damage is not hard to get out at all in this vehicle. It's really just surviving the battle, and, of course, coming out with a victory. Let me know what you think about this video in the comments down below if you'd like to see more like this, if I get any other ridiculous games, but this is like a once-in-a-month game for me. I normally don't get super good carries out like this. Let me know what you think. Hopefully, all of you enjoyed today's video. Other than that, I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye!